And good evening, everybody. I'd like to welcome you to another live episode of Cruz Radio 102.8 television. Tonight is normally our Twisted Tuesday on the radio, but we're taking Twisted Tuesday to a new level. And I guarantee you, if you've been watching our timelines and paying attention to what's been going on, we have one fantastic show for you tonight. Have a very beautiful young lady from Richmond that's going to be joining me in just a few minutes. But we got to pay some bills first. So, I want to thank our sponsors for being a part of the Cruz family. Our first sponsor is the Universal Medical Health Services LLC. Our services are strength based on recovery driven and vary in intensity depending on individual needs. Individual family needs and group treatment services are available. You can find them here in Richmond, also in Annapolis, Maryland, and in Newport News. Sorry about that. I got distracted watching the news there. Um, this is live television. Their hours are Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and on Saturday and Sundays by appointments only. Again, that's the Newport News office, the Annapolis, Maryland office, and here in Richmond, Virginia. Also, like to thank our other sponsor, which is Design Creations and Candles, owned and operated by Miss Pamela Jones. You can follow her on Facebook, IG, and also on Twitter. And you can follow our Universal Mental Services LLC on Facebook, Twitter, and all social media platforms as well. Again, tonight we're going to be dealing with a very touchy subject for most people, but we're going to do it in a way that's going to be very clinically. I said clinical mode is what I want to say. And it's going to be done very tastefully. Of course, as you can see, the views and opinions discussed on this broadcast tonight are those of the host, myself, and the author. And let me tell you about our author here. Again, this is a very beautiful young lady. The book that we're going to be talking about tonight is very well written. I'm a man. I enjoyed reading this book. It's well written. It is a short read, about four chapters, and I guarantee you're going to find it very informative. Want to let you know also about Twisted Tuesday that you're going to have an opportunity to get this book, Flying Solo. And let me tell you about the author herself. She is dynamic. She started off in this adventure as a certified MUA, and she transitioned. She's a wonderful entrepreneur as well. You got to go to her website. We're going to be putting that across in a few minutes, but she is also a certified clinical sexuality coach. And that one right there, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that one was a new one for me. I got to admit, I've been around the world a lot, but to get a certification in this, it's just like phenomenal. And when you meet her, the first thing that you're going to notice is that she has a amazing personality. She is one of Richmond's own, and I like to bring to the screen Miss L.M. Scott. How you doing?
Hi, I'm great. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Well, glad that you are here, and we're excited to be talking with you tonight and to discuss this amazing book called Flying Solo, Reaching Your Ultimate Altitude. So tell us a little bit about you first and some of the things that you've been doing before becoming an author.
So I have a business that's called LMS Artistry. The LMS stands for my initials, which is Londilia McCoy Scott, as well as the acronym for Liquor, Makeup, and Sex. Liquor represents the cosmetic line that I have established, which is called Drinks for Me Makeup. Makeup is the services I provide, and sex is because I'm a sexologist, and that's how I came up with the book.
That's amazing. Now, one of the things that we're going to be doing tonight here, because we don't want any issues with any of the platforms, we're going to be talking about the M word, but we're going to be replacing the M word with self pleasure. And right off the bat, a lot of people are still in 2021, LM. There's still a struggle out here. How did you come about with this information and compile it into this wonderfully written book?
Like I mentioned, that I am a makeup artist. So when I am providing makeup services and the women comes into my studio, it was more or less just conversation about sex. And that was one of the topics that always came up, was the lack of an orgasm. And so that's kind of how the book came about, is just being able to talk to different women from all types, from all different types of walks of life, and being able to just kind of see what's going on and being able to address some of the needs. And it kind of led me into the sexology part of my business, because I wanted to provide that insight for them.
Now, I said before when you and I were talking that this was going to be historic, because this is the first time that you had an interview talking about your book with a male. Is that correct?
That is very correct, yes.
And to be quite honest, this is historic for us because, of course, this is an important topic and we deal with important topics, but to go in this lane, I've coined it where the barbershop meets the beauty shop tonight.
Okay.
So we're gonna have some shop talk here, and I want to go now through a listing of the chapters here, because again, it sets the premise of what we're going to be talking about when it comes to self pleasure here, and the way you wrote the book. You outline it in such a, like I said, a clinical fashion, and then you put some practical things in here that makes it kind of, like I said, easy to digest a very difficult, sometimes taboo subject. Was that I guess, your plan from the beginning, to say, hey, how can I tackle such a taboo subject and make everybody feel comfortable about talking about it?
Yes, that was definitely the plan. I wanted to kind of make light of the situation, but not really make light of it. I wanted to make women comfortable with being able to talk about it, because that's something that we don't do. And so I wanted to, really get the conversation started about our bodies and the things that we are experiencing as far as intimacy with our partner and without our partner.
Why is it, in your opinion, that we still have this struggle? We're in a sexual age now. If you were watching the Grammys this weekend, you saw Meg Thee Stallion and Cardi B. That was out of the box for them. But still, when it comes to having these discussions, it's like, oh man, I can't talk about that. Or for you and I to be talking about it, it's like, oh, what? They out on the public, they in a public broadcast talking about it? Yes, we are. In your opinion, why is it still relatively taboo?
It's relatively taboo. I would definitely say what my experience is, that in the Black community, we don't want to have that discussion because of the different with as far as self pleasure. It was okay for, if a boy is doing it, but if a female talks about it, then no, you can't do that. It's wrong. And it was a lot of different religious beliefs behind why you shouldn't self pleasure. So those beliefs actually carried with us throughout our adulthood. And so that's why it's very difficult to have these conversations with other women, because we still feel like that is wrong, and we don't want no one to know that we're doing that.
Yeah, and it's funny that you mentioned that there are double standards, as we see, basically, and this is Women's History Month, and this is why this conversation was critical for me at this time, because again, it's about enlightenment, it's about revolution, it's about freedom, and bringing more freedom to, especially to our female viewers. And I want to get into the point where chapter 1. Set that up for us in terms of to do or not to do.
Yeah, so with chapter one, like you mentioned, is to do or not to do. And that's just making sure that if self-pleasure is actually right for you. Like I mentioned, that there are so many stigmas that we grew up with, a lot of them stemming around religious reasons why we shouldn't self-pleasure. And so you have to go through the different myths of why, why it's, something that you want to do and can I talk about it, or if it's something that is just completely not for you. So, so I kind of set it up, chapter one, to kind of just give people a little insight of some of the myths that, it's not true. Then, so they can make informed decision on whether or not, self-pleasure is right for them.
Let's talk about some of those myths because you break them down. You bust you do the Ghostbuster thing on some of these myths here. Talk about those things that again have normally been again coined as things that you shouldn't do with self-pleasuring and why it's not good for you and all that.
Right. A lot of myths with self-pleasure for women is that it's a myth that if you're self-pleasuring, that means that you're not satisfied with your relationship or your partner, which that is not true. Self-pleasure is actually getting to know your body so that you can communicate with your partner. Another myth is that, if I do this, then my genital area is going to go numb. That's not the case either. So it was just, being able to tackle those myths that comes up all the time with women, and just letting them know that, this is truly a myth. And this is some of the drawbacks with it also. So, you can actually make an informed decision on whether or not you want to actually self-pleasure.
It's funny that in that, and not a funny thing, but in that bullet point that it's going to make that private area numb. Guys, we used to hear, boy, you're going to put your eye out, so you're doing that. So keep on, you're going to put your eye out. So there is, those myths on both sides. And again, it's based on that old folk tale, as I call it.
Right. And that's what it is. It's truly an old folk tale because those things that was told to us was really made, like I mentioned, for women, that when it was told to us, it was really to scare us not to do it because it was wrong. Coming up in a generation, 70s and 80s, that's something that you just didn't do. And even today, a lot of parents do not even talk to their girls about self-pleasure. It's an ongoing joke with boys that, the whole carpal tunnel thing and they're going to put your eye out, all of that. But, so it's a joking manner with boys, but it's never addressed with girls. And I feel like if it is addressed with girls, there, we won't have a lot of so many partners within teenage girls. There wouldn't be a lot of teenage pregnancies, in my opinion, if you actually will teach young girls to self-pleasure. They're not looking to fulfill these feelings with someone else.
Also, now this one deals with couples that the self-pleasuring ruins sexual experiences with your partner. That has to be a big one because I know in the back of the minds of guys here, if most of those guys will be honest, we're always thinking about what man she's thinking about.
Yes, that is true. That's what men think. Also, men try to compete with toys, which is crazy as well. There's no competition with that. So it's not necessarily that that they're looking to replace their partner. It's really helping the relationship, being able to know what you like and dislike and be able to communicate that. You're actually strengthening your relationship if you self-pleasure.
And again, if we were to be honest, and a lot of men enjoy seeing their woman in that self pleasure mode. And the reverse, some women find it very erotic for their partner, and we're going to use partner here to be politically correct, to do the same thing. So, you would think that, again, this is what we're going to be talking about. Later on, not detrimental to the relationship, but it can be a help to the relationship. Do you think?
Yes, it definitely can be a help, but you have to have that communication. That's where it starts, because it's a lot of times that, depending on what era that you grew up in, a lot of wives do not want their husbands to know that they're doing this, let alone doing it in front of them. So it's all about communication and being able to talk to your partner and tell them what it is that you want, and also let them know that this is what I'm doing, but it has no effect on our relationship, and I'm not looking to go anywhere else. So to me, it actually opened up the line of communication.
And that's a nice segue into that next one, that self pleasuring for women makes you prone to cheating.
Right,
Tear
right.
that one up. Tear that one up, because I know that there's a lot of fellas that think, oh, she's thinking about Chris Brown, Augustine, and all the other guys that had that genitalia on the on the big screen lately.
Yes, I mean, and in the book, I state that, let's be honest. If you're going to cheat, you're going to cheat. If there's a will, there's a way. So it doesn't have anything to do with self-pleasuring at all. It's something that you want to do. Because, I mean, if you're going to cheat, self-pleasure is the furthest thing from your mind. You're going to look for that stimulation somewhere else.
That's absolutely true, and a lot of it has nothing to do with self pleasure, and that's the same as saying just because a man is doing the same thing that he's looking to cheat. That's again one of those myths that I said no, it's not always the case, because as you just indicated, anybody that has in their mind to have an outside relationship probably has nothing to do with self pleasure, and it's some other underlying factors that contributed to that.
Yes, that is true. It's definitely underlining issues. And once again, if there are, someone who wants to cheat, I feel that the communication with self-pleasuring and being able to communicate to your partner, you don't need to go anywhere else. I mean, that's one of the overall reasons why, one of the reasons why I wrote the book is because once you self-pleasure and you know what you like and you dislike, you can communicate that to your partner. So you're not looking for someone else to do that for you. You can, be sexually satisfied with what's right in front of you. And no, you don't have to look any further, go anywhere else to get that stimulation.
So let's talk about that for a minute, LM, in terms of communicating that to your partner, because again, we get in our feelings. I forgot the name of the song, that you need to come back and get your feelings or pick up your feelings or whatever. We are ultra sensitive, especially men, because our egos are attached to our sexuality, and if you bruise that in any kind of way, it can be, somewhat detrimental. So, how do women, from your vantage point here, how should they communicate with their, especially with men and their spouse or husband, about how to please them as a woman, as a wife?
Right. So my opinion in being able to communicate with your partner is, to me, is outside the bedroom. If you're in the moment and you feel and you can say it in a sexy way, or kind of lead him to where you want him to go, that would be great. But if it's something that you are uncomfortable with, then I honestly feel like it needs to happen outside the bedroom. The last thing you want to do is, like you mentioned, bruise your man's ego, because that's something hard to come back from. So you really need to be able to feel comfortable with your partner. That's one, and then two, being able to open the lines of communication. It may not be just going right into "I don't like when you did X, Y, and Z," or
Hmm.
or "I want more of X, Y, and Z, and you're not giving it to me." instead of going straight for that, just being able to open up the lines of communication, just about, talking about, hey, last night was great, but, I like it when, I like it if you did this more. So being able to have that conversation, open up that line of communication without bruising your man's ego, making him feel that he's still your man, and
Right.
you want him and you're still attracted to him, sexually attracted to him, and that you just want to enhance, you all's relationship. And a lot of times it could be opening the lines of communication just by, saying, hey, let's take a ride to, the store, the adult store. And
Right.
so you're kind of playing into boosting his ego that, that you really want to take your sexual relationship to another level.
And guys, that's a great point, because we have to be willing to satisfy our women in such a way that it's again about the pleasure of both parties in this, because it can be euphoric if everybody get that ultimate high, that altitude that you talk about in the book, and that we have to be open minded and not think that, okay, we're inadequate in any way. But again, just like we ask you all to do certain things that we like, then we have to be receptive to that same conversation. So I'm talking to the brothers here that might be peeking in. I know you're not gonna show yourselves. So brothers, men, partners, be receptive and be understanding. And again, communication is about transmittal and receiving. A lot of times we're transmitting information, but we're not receiving that information. And if we're talking, we're not receiving. So we got to get into that receptive mode.
Yes, definitely. Because as women, we are willing to go that extra mile. But we want to make sure that it is, like you said, received well, because the last thing we want to do is, like I mentioned, we definitely don't want to bruise our man's ego, because we, if they're our partners and we're trying all of these things with them, we obviously have really strong feelings, love, and all of that for them. And we want to get to the next level so that you're satisfied and I'm satisfied.
Now, here's one that's important as we talk about whether to do or not to do. The fear that it may become addictive. And we have to address this, because there are some people, just like they get addicted to porn, they get addicted to certain things. How can we create balance or talk about balance along this addiction line here?
So the thing is, you're not alienating your man. You're not replacing him. This is something that you're doing to figure out how you operate. And so you're doing this enough to figure that out. You're not doing this in a obsessive, a manner that it can become addictive, because then at that point you're no longer flying solo. You're just completely on a solo mission.
Right.
And so you have to make sure that those boundaries. And so really is being able to, I am doing this so that I can figure out my body, because obviously there is something that I'm not getting there, and I need to know why. Is it because it's not the right, he's not hitting the right spot. He's not, rubbing in the right zones. So want to be able to have, fly solo, but not be on this constant solo mission. So you really need to look at the warning signs of if it's addictive. So if you want, if you prefer flying solo versus being with your partner, then you can say, okay, wait a minute, this may be a problem. So really checking the warning signs about that, because this is all about being able to figure out your body so you can communicate that with your partner, because the overall, what you want is an overall better sexual relationship with your partner.
Absolutely, and we have to be careful, because anything that we overindulge in can become addictive, like cigarettes, drinking, eating, you can become addicted to certain things. So we shouldn't, again, just want to say, okay, we're not going to do this because we can become addictive. You can become addicted to watching television. You can become addicted to watching me. Now let me stop.
It's everything in moderation, really. It's everything
Right.
in moderation, so it doesn't become a addictive behavior.
And I want to go back here because we need to acknowledge this young lady here because she's was essential in this book. You want to tell everybody about Miss Valerie?
Yes. So Miss Valerie McAllister, I call her my mentor. She had been very instrumental in a lot of things that came about with the book. I run everything by her, and I'm like, "Oh, what do you think about this? And what do you think about that?" And I will honestly say she's very honest with me. She is like a best friend that you can't ask for anything more, but she treats me like a daughter. And so she's very protective, but she has been very instrumental in this book and being able to provide me guidance because Miss McAllister is an author herself. And so when I told her that I wanted to write a book, she was, very quick to help me with this. And also the book was published in her publishing company, which is Generational Word. So, and there's generationalwordllc.com, I believe. Yeah.
That's amazing. What we're going to do, Ellen, we're going to take a quick break here. I'm going to feature a song by, I got a lot of rising stars around me. You're one of them. This young lady here is a national recording artist, and she has this brand new song out called Mojito. And so what a wonderful way. And we're going to get into that next segment of your book. We're not going to talk about the old book because we want people to go out and buy the book. So we're just going to give them some snippets of it to kind of give them that appetizer for us. So here's Mojito, everybody.
Sing. Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Sitting in this place with a smile on my face, knowing you are in my spirit makes my world dance. Where would I be without you? I can't imagine. So glad I took a chance. Mint and lime, oh so sweet. You got my head bopping to a crazy beat. I'm sipping my mojito, trying to let it go. But you know, my heart is just no. My whole universe changed the day I met you. You opened up my soul, you freed my heart, yeah. You gave me courage to make a brand new start. It was no accident me meeting you. Now what should I do? Mint and lime, yeah. Oh so sweet. You got my head bopping to a crazy beat. I'm sipping my mojito, trying to let it go. But you know, my heart says no. Can't let it go. Can't let you go. Can't let it go. My heart says no. Yeah. Can't let it go. Can't let you go. Can't let it go. My heart says no. Yeah. All I want is your love, baby. All I want is your love. What have you done to me, sugar? You know you set me free. I'm loving you, yeah, yeah. Milk and lime, yeah. Oh, so sweet. You got my head bopping to a crazy beat. I'm sipping my mojito, trying to let it go. But you know, my heart is just no. Sing. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
All right, everybody, and that was Mojito by national recording artist Costella, and she's also the Cruz Inc. Radio 102.8 featured artist. And I was listening to that to the words. I listened to them anyway. And it was talking about being free and sipping and what you do. I was thinking, man, that's a good song to be doing some self-pleasuring with.
Exactly.
And we are delighted to have Costella listening into the show tonight, and her comments. This is a fantastic conversation. So, LM, thank you again. Getting some great comments here from everybody. Again, Miss McAllister wanted to say thank you. Let's see. I found that comment somewhere. There we go. She wanted to say thank you for the kudos that you gave her. So let's get back into the conversation here, because we were talking about, again, to do or not to do. And self-pleasuring in the book, again, this is the beautiful book here, everybody, Flying Solo. You can see right behind LM as well, that it is very healthy, a very healthy practice for women, especially single women, or if you're, I won't say especially, but for single women or women in a relationship or marriage, self-pleasure allows you to explore your body, and doing so, the payoffs will be for the big O will have, it would be very beneficial. And we want to talk about some of those things that self-pleasuring releases some hormones. And everybody get your pens out right now, because the question to win the money tonight is going to be to name one of the hormones that is released when you get that big O after having the self-pleasure. So, and also Miss Scott is going to be giving away one of the books. So when you be the first call, I'm going to ask you the question at the end of the show to call me and give me the name of one of the hormones that is released during the big O. And also, you're going to win some cash tonight. And this book compliments of our wonderful and skilled entrepreneur and author.
Thank you.
So let's talk about that first one, endorphins.
Yes. So with endorphins, like when you have an orgasm, you're releasing all of these hormones that allowing you to relieve stress, headaches, it's a lot of not ailments, but a lot of issues that we face as women. You're releasing those hormones as you have an orgasm. And so it is very healthy to be able to have an orgasm when you're engaging in sexual activity. And because a lot of women do not achieve an orgasm doing sexual activities, you're not releasing those hormones. And so therefore you are, they can lead to other issues that, underlying issues that you may not know of. And so it's really important that we be able to achieve an orgasm so we can, like I mentioned, release stress, it does relieve headaches. I even mentioned that, it could be weight loss as well. So it's a healthy act that we actually need to be able to achieve in order to, to release those hormones and be able to have the big O, the benefit of the big O, which is, a pleasure in itself.
Now, this one I struggle with the word a little bit. It's kind of like almost like oxytocin.
Yes.
Am I close in the neighborhood?
Yes. Yeah, oxytocin, yes. Yes.
Okay.
So,
see, guys, I can do this. I can talk to a woman about this.
Yes. Look, you have me looking in a book now. But I mean, yeah, so being able to release, I mean, like it's well, I can't give it all away because somebody's gonna call, but but
well, they need to be writing it down because they're gonna have to remember these endorphins and oxytocin, and there's gonna be one more we're gonna talk about as well.
Yes, and so so you have the it's called the love hormone as well that that releases when you have an orgasm, and you're able to be able to relax. It helps you to sleep. It's kind of it's almost kind of like just a nightcap. If you're having an orgasm, and then it also depends on the type of orgasm that you're having also, because some orgasms just allow you to replenish where others kind of just knock you out.
And again, I mentioned the word euphoric, which goes along and with that, again, endorphins. And these, again, people, we're not making these up here. If you go to a lot of your medical books and things like that, you'll see these words mentioned. And that's why I said, Ellen, that you did a masterful job of making this clinical and helping a lot of women understand, and men as well, because we men have a fallacy that we think penetration is the end all. And we're going to find out somewhere along here that probably 85 to 90% of the time, penetration does not do it. So we leave you all hanging.
Yes, and that's something that I don't know if men know, but a lot of women do not orgasm through penetration. There are different. Now, I'm not saying that you can't. You can, and I feel that if you use some of the techniques I have in the book, you will be able to orgasm with penetration. But it is kind of a myth that women just automatically have orgasm, and that's not the case. So, like you mentioned, a lot of men leave women hanging because we need that stimulation in other areas that will actually allow us to orgasm.
And we've added to the stress now, which means now you can't release those endorphins and you can't release that oxytocin. None of that happens.
Right. And it doesn't. And it is sexually frustrating. It really is. It's sexually frustrating to engage in sexual activity where your partner will release and you don't. And he may roll over and go to sleep, or, pat himself on the back that he did a fabulous job, and you're left hanging to either fly solo or just, becomes something normal now that just happens. So I'm having sex with my partner, but I don't orgasm. And I have taught, and this is the reason for the book. Right. We're talking with a lot of women that, there are women who have not had orgasms in years. I actually came in contact with a young lady that has been married for over 20 years. And I think she said, I haven't had an orgasm in 15 years.
Wow.
And so, what happens is that it becomes a normal process to have sex with your husband and knowing that you're just going to be left unsatisfied.
And that's sad because, because we look for satisfaction, because that's why we're engaging other than procreation, is to reach that satisfaction. And, we see all these videos now and we hear all these songs, and everybody thinks that you got to break backs and you got to flip them and have a hanging from the ceiling fan and all that. Yeah, right. Okay, let's keep it real. Half of us can't even get up to the ceiling fan. So
right, and then another thing is being able to go for hours. Like who wants that?
And and I've talked to, females in counseling and stuff like that. And some of them actually, after a while, it gets numb, even with the oral stimulation, after a certain period of point in time that, okay, all right, if they hadn't reached that that climax, and the partner is still there, then it becomes again annoying, and that's where it goes back to that communication part. Say, hey, you've been on that one spot for 20 minutes. Try something else now.
Right, right. And I mean, and then you have to realize too that there isn't enough lubrication to constantly go for a long period of time, especially if you're not climaxing. And so men really need to know that these are some of the techniques. Now, I wrote the book for women, but I have a lot of men who said it's been very insightful. But the book is for women to be able to communicate what it is that needs to happen. One thing is that a lot of men don't know is that women have just as much erectile tissue inside their body as much as the men have outside their body. So when you're looking at that area, only 10% of it is visible. Mm-hmm. The other 90% is inside. But just as well as a man needs to be erect, the parts that's inside, the 90% needs to be erect as well in females. And it takes time to get there. And
all
so,
right, then.
And so as a man, you need to be patient with, you need to be patient with your woman. But it goes back to flying solo. So then she can tell him how long she needs to get there.
That's a good point, because if she doesn't know, how can she communicate that to him? Excellent point.
Yes.
Let's talk about this last hormone, which you say is key, serotonin. Okay, we playing with, we struggling, but we getting this.
Yeah, so that hormone is key. That hormone actually it allows us to it keeps our mood stable. which is really good in a relationship, or just being sexual with anyone. Being able to release that hormone, it stabilizes our mood. It allows us to be able to communicate what it is that whether it's inside the bedroom or outside the bedroom. So that is very key to being able to release that hormone, because like I mentioned, it stabilizes our mood.
All right, so I'm gonna have you to give them the 3 hormones again, because again, at the end of the show, just before we end, I'm gonna say, give me a call at 804-601-0281 and name one of the hormones that we mentioned that is just euphoric.
Yeah, so it's the oxytocin, the serotonin, and hold on. You see, I told you you're gonna make me look in the book.
I'll help you out. Endorphins. That's my favorite word.
Yes. So those are the 3 hormones that we definitely want to be releasing when we have an orgasm. Like I mentioned, there is so many benefits to having an orgasm that women are not aware of. And so if we're not having an orgasm, then that's the reason why a lot of us are moody. That's the reason why, you don't take out the trash and we're ready to take your head off. So, or you're breathing the wrong way. You get her in the right position and allow her to release some of those hormones. You'll have, what they say, a happy wife, a happy life.
Yes, heard that. Now, as we get ready to move into chapter 2, and again, we're only going to discuss a couple of chapters here because I want people to go out and buy the book. And in fact, let me put up here where you can go right now so you all won't know. There it is. There's the website. That's fabulous website, by the way. Very well laid out, easy, user friendly. So guys, go there. And let me say this, we're talking about the subject, but we need to support one another. There's so many of us that are doing things that are in the minority, and you're doing a fabulous job. That's why I want to bring you on tonight. But I also wanted to support my sisters. I want to support our queens and kings in their endeavors. So go out. There you go. I have to figure the camera. Go out and ladies, buy the book. It is a very, very good read. What I call a quick read, but it'll make you want to read it over and over again because you'll go back and look at something like, oh, okay, let me look at that again. So, yeah, that's right. I'm doing a plug right here for the book because I got it, and guess what? I paid for it so that I can support what Miss Scott is doing. So I didn't ask for a give me. So you know how we do. We trying to get the what they call it, the hookup, the homeboy hookup. Well, don't ask her for a homeboy hookup because this book costs money to make. And so, again, with her time, skills, buy the book. So that's my plug tonight.
Thank you.
Now let's talk about again chapter 2, because the way that you crafted this. Anybody can follow along with it. You talk about from an aviation standpoint. Why did you choose to go that and lay that framework for that?
I chose the aviation framework because it's, we're flying solo, and I wanted to be able to for women to relate to what I was saying. I wanted, to make things kind of easy and, like you said, like kind of a easy read. So I kind of laid it out. And once, I mentioned that I want to make light of the situation, but not really make light of the situation because it is a serious situation. But I wanted people to relate to it as well. So I kind of laid it out, in a way that, you can follow along with flying solo. So if you're flying solo, because that, once again, that's a solo mission, I need you to know what it takes to fly solo. So yeah, and I'm just hoping that women can relate to it and be able to take, some of the things that I say and say, oh, okay, I can understand that and I can do that. So that's kind of what the way I laid it out.
And you mentioned, you kind of say, okay, it's more than, because when you talk about a pilot, preparing for a flight, they just don't jump in there and, hit all the instruments and say, okay, we get to go. There's some things that have to be done before that. And you talk about analyzing the flight plan, which direction you're going to go in, determining the safest route and navigating the plane. So analyzing the flight plan. Go ahead, break that down, sister. I only have my drink right here. I need a drink about this one.
So analyzing the flight plan is really knowing your body, knowing what you have to be comfortable with who you are. A lot of times as women, we talk about how we're too big, we're fat, we're skinny, we're constantly comparing ourselves to other women that we may see on social media or on TV. So analyzing the flight plan is really getting to know your body, loving who you are, flaws and all, and being able to just be comfortable with your partner in those intimate moments.
Now, you brought up a phrase, and we talked about it earlier, body dysmorphic disorder. And that's serious because, again, I was talking and having a conversation that this plays into self-esteem. And a lot of women and men, too, cannot find pleasure with themselves or love themselves because they don't like their bodies. Let's deal with that. Talk about that for a moment.
So that disorder is really a mental illness. I mention it in the book because even though it's a mental illness, a lot of women, we suffer from that and not knowing it because we're constantly checking how we look in mirrors and walking past a mirror in the rearview mirror, like anything that we're walking past and catching a glimpse of of ourselves. We're constantly checking, and really the body dysmorphic disorder. It's really having that. It's a mental disorder that deals with having a flaw, whether it's imagined or whether it's something that you truly have, but being able to just obsess over that. So you're constantly like, you do things excessively, like exercising, not eating, things of that nature, because you don't like how you look and you don't like how you feel. And so I referenced in the book that, as women, we kind of take on that disorder. And it really starts from childhood, because it's all about, if one person says something to you that you dislike, then that kind of stays with you throughout your childhood. Then you're constantly thinking that that's who you are, or what you're dealing with. And so with that disorder, it's kind of like we have to get out of our own way and get that inner child out of our head and be able to love ourselves no matter how we look, or, how big we are or how small we are.
Absolutely. And I want to say to Miss Natalie McKnight here, another fantastic artist, excellent artist, singer. You're on track now, so come on, get your wings, as Valerie said. We're talking about self-pleasure, and we're talking about the book Flying Solo, Reaching Your Ultimate Altitude. And again, LM laid it out very masterfully here, using the plane again, because we know some of the things that have to go on with that. And we're talking about, again, a person has to love themselves in order to please themselves. Because if you feel that your body isn't desirable and you don't want to touch your own body, or you don't want anybody else to touch your own body, you won't be able to reach that altitude. Is that what you're pretty much saying here?
Yes, and yes, that's what I'm saying, is that you cannot reach your altitude because you're so worried about how you look. Your man is ready to be able to enter the cockpit, and you are so worried about how you look in different positions, or how and a lot of times with women, it's two things that we deal with. It's our butt or our stomach.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, okay, does my butt look big in this position, or is my stomach hanging in this position? And so we have to be okay with who we are and how we look. And once we are confident with that, we can definitely take our relationship to another altitude, because we're comfortable with that. I've had a gentleman who brought the book for his girlfriend, and he brought the book because he stated that he feels that it's a turn on for a woman to be confident in how she looks. And he wanted her to be able to read the book and be confident in who she is, and then be able to communicate what it is that she wants. And so that was his reasoning for, buying the book for his girlfriend. And that's something that we really need to know, that as a woman, when you walk into the room, before a man can even form an opinion that you're beautiful, that, you're shapely or whatever, your confidence enters the room before you do. And so that's a lot of time, that's what attracts a man to a woman, is confidence. And so I don't care how good you may look, how good your body may look, how curvy, how small, whatever the case may be. If you have low self-esteem, a person is not going to, a man is not going to approach you, because they're looking for that confidence in a woman.
And I was sitting here thinking, as we're talking, that sexiness is a state of mind. And that's where we have to get to, that in everything that we do, if we feel good about ourselves, have that confidence, as you just stated, and you go into the book quite a bit, talking about some things that you dealt with, but we're going to say that because we want people to buy the book. If you want to know what LM said about herself, go back to the website and buy the book. But again, I love how you again talked about the confidence, about getting to a certain point. And there were some medical things that you had to deal with. And again, I won't release those things because we want them to buy the book, that you had to overcome, and that communication came from your husband and your partner, getting you and helping you with to overcome those challenges. How important, again, and we talked about it probably ad nauseum, was that communication from him to you to get you over that hump?
Yeah, so the communication is key. I mean, and that's what the book talks about is communication. Communication is definitely key when you're doing anything in a relationship. Being able to communicate with your partner. With when you have issues that you need to overcome, it doesn't matter what someone else says or do or think. They can tell you, I mean, you can be on a cover of a magazine with a two-piece on and everybody is just like in awe over you. But if you're still having these thoughts that you're not good enough or that you don't look as good as you want, you're going to carry that. And no matter what nobody says, that's going to be the issue. So being able to work through those issues for yourself and then have that support that you need. So for me, I had to work through those issues. And then I had the support of my husband reiterating those, that support and reiterating those things that I was lacking to get me over having to deal with the issues. And I mean, it really helps a lot. So you really need that support system to get you over, whatever issues that you may be dealing with, especially when they come to intimacy.
I want to tell everybody again, those that just kind of still popping in, that we're talking about self pleasure here, and predominantly self pleasure for women, basically breaking down the myths and helping women to feel more comfortable. And in the book, before chapter 2, you mentioned that this is personal and it's your preference whether you do or don't, but what you're doing is making it more acceptable for women to self pleasure. Is that correct?
Yes. I want to start the conversation with women because we should not suffer in silence. I don't want any woman having to suffer from not having an orgasm for 15 years. It's just a matter of, having a conversation to say, hey, I don't have an orgasm. Open up in those lines of communications with your girlfriend. So then even if you have the book or if you don't have the book, you're opening up those lines of communication to say, hey, I need help. Or I need someone to listen because this is what's going on. I just feel like you should never accept not having an orgasm as a normal sexual activity. That is truly wrong. That is wrong. And every woman should experience some type of explosive orgasm once in their lifetime.
I got to read, and I want you to answer Natalie's question here, but on the book, it says,
Okay, so I'm not sure what happened with Cruz, but can you guys still hear me? If someone can let me know if I'm still on, and I will continue the conversation until Cruz come back on. Can you guys hear me?
All right, everybody, we blew up the internet.
I was asking if they can hear me because I was going to continue the conversation until you got back.
We just shut down the internet tonight.
But that's a good thing.
Yes, it is. We back, y'all. I promise somebody got excited. It wasn't me. I'm good. But let me go back and see if I can find. Oh, this is just too good. Let me go back and find the question that we had. Oh my goodness! Here we go. We're gonna put it back. All right. Can you see the question?
Yes. So does your husband hold talking session with guys? Because there's a lot of women who undergo something physically, mentally, emotionally that cause them to go in hiding. Men need to understand why their mates feel a certain way. I'm not sure if my husband have conversations with his friends or not about this topic. One thing I will say is that I did not put in the book about reasons why women do not have orgasms. So there are a lot of medical reasons why women do not have orgasms. It could be medication that they're on that will cause them not to have an orgasm. A lot of times that if there was any type of sexual trauma early on in life, sexual trauma stored in your genitals. And so a lot of times you will not achieve an orgasm that way. So it's not that it's something that your man is doing. It's just maybe some issues that you may be having that will not allow you to have an orgasm. Stress, all of those things cause reasons why why a woman is not having an orgasm. So, but once again, I understand those issues. The reason why I wrote the book, I understand a lot of those reasons firsthand. And so we have to start the conversation because there are resolutions to those problems. But if you go into hiding, then we don't know and cannot, be able to help. So one thing that I do cover in the book is that meditation is key. Meditation, and using meditation as foreplay is a great way to achieve an orgasm. And that's just getting rid of the day-to-day, the day-to-day activities with the kids, our jobs, cooking, things that women go through on a daily basis. Being able to meditate and clear your mind so that you can be present in the moment of intimacy.
And let me make a point for the men right here. Mental foreplay, guys, it's crucially important. The foreplay needs to start before you even in her presence. You need to be setting the tone. It may be a text, it may be a phone call, it may be something outside the box other than getting there and expect for her to be ready when, again, just as you just mentioned, you've dealt with the kids, you've dealt with cooking, all the other things that's going on during the pandemic. And we come in, we jet set it, the wind and blew on it, and we ready to go because it's standing, the flagpole is up. But what I've always understood is that, again, if you really want to help the woman to get to that euphoric feeling, again, some foreplay beforehand, some mental foreplay, some role playing. We have to be outside the box in our thinking as well. We want our women to put on different hair and do all these different things, but we don't want to meet you all halfway. And go back to Natalie's questions. We don't have a lot of conversation with our fellas about our women having orgasm, because first thing we think about, man, if I tell this dude about the kind of orgasm my woman have, he gonna be at my Jody gonna have my woman and gone. That's an old song. Some of y'all may not know about that old song. Jody got my girl and gone. I'm telling my age here, but y'all bear with me. But no, we don't, because we want our fellas to think that, man, and when it comes to sexual pleasure, we Superman, we Spider-Man, we the Hulk, we knocking it down. She having that orgasm every time. And again, we're building fallacies. So no, we don't talk to other guys about it unless we're trying to find somebody that can communicate with us about it. So that conversation, that barbershop conversation don't happen that often other than we trying to be, the heroes.
But do men really know though? Do men really know that? Okay, so you have, you got yours and you rolling over. Do you ask her, oh, well, did you get yours? Or do you just be like, oh, you just assume that it happened?
And see, good question. Let's talk a little bit. I'm going to extend the show just a few more minutes here because I want you all to write in your questions as well. We, a lot of times, don't have a clue. Because you guys over the years and women, because they want to bruise our fragile ego, have a tendency to fake it and have faked it for years. And just because there's a little moisture down there, we think that y'all done had that orgasm. No, dude, that's natural lubricant sometimes. It has nothing to do with having an orgasm.
Right. Right. And so, and really, and I think it's unfair. I think it's unfair for women not to tell their partner that they did not have an orgasm, because now he's thinking, like I said, he roll over and go to sleep, or he'll roll over and pat himself on the back like he did something. Yeah, beating the chest the whole night, and we're sitting over like, man. I can't get those 5 minutes back in my life.
Oh, she said 5 minutes. Oh, not 5 minutes.
So and I think that's what
I don't need a minute, man. You done cut it down less than I'm done.
Yeah, it's so true. So it's just like, he doing his thing. He is like going to town, and you just, okay, you're thinking, okay, I'm almost there. And then he's there and you're not, but oh well, you're not there. So I guess, the ride is over. But that's when we need to step up and say, hey, I didn't get mine yet. I need you to do a little bit more. Or, doing that beforehand, like you said, that foreplay, being able to, before we get to the movie, can we have some popcorn? Something, you just can't go straight to it. Like,
ooh, I told y'all this was going to be good. So you can get some popcorn.
So it's, so I think it's on women. I won't put it on us all the time, because I think that the man needs to be able to say the same thing, like, you good, something, like send some smoke signals, something, you good, and then it's up to us to say, no, I'm not. I need a little bit more. I need to, go a little longer. And then that's when he needs to be creative in getting her there. But also she needs to let him know what it would take to get her there.
Brother, if she turned on the light stand and started watching television, that's a clue.
Or just say, okay, you're done. I'll finish up. Don't worry about it.
If she disappeared for a little while, guess what? She's flying solo. Let's see. We've got another question here. Comment said, a lot of my male friends talk to me about it, and I tell them just because she moaned don't mean she reached Mount Everest. Ooh, y'all throwing shade tonight.
and that's true. I don't know what it would take, but you know what? I do know what it would take. It would take us stepping up to the plate and saying, no, you need, I need a little dinner, need a little conversation before you go into the house. So, we gotta talk about this. So it is truly up to us. It's up to us to put our foot down and say, okay, enough is enough. I understand that you're going to get yours regardless, especially if we have that chemistry. But I need you to make sure that I'm good when you're good.
And that's a good point. Again, it all boils down to communications. We have to start having honest, open communications. And we have to look at it from a standpoint, nobody's tearing us down, but we're trying to build a healthy relationship so that, again, all parties are satisfied in the end. Because, like I said, whether, a happy wife, happy life, happy partner, period, is important, especially when we're dealing with the stressful times that we're in right now. It's important for people to be happy, and we got to release those endorphins and oxytocin and serotonin scenes. I'll have to get my muddy out on that.
And the thing is, like, we're definitely in a pandemic. So why would you go somewhere else looking to reach that altitude when you can just hop on a plane right in front of you? You don't need to, we're in a pandemic, so let's be very safe and being able to communicate with our partner. The book is truly about bringing relationships closer together and to have a better sexual relationship. So it's the old saying is to have a friend, you got to be a friend. Well, to orgasm, you got to let him know.
Let me read the back of this book right here, ladies. Let me get my voice. Ladies, do you want to experience multiple mind-blowing, toe-curling, body quivering, spine tingling, powerful, intense, projectile squirting of the big O?
Yes.
I wish we had time to deal with the squirting part because, again, there's a lot of reasons. Some women do, some don't, and some people say it's a myth, and some say there's some other factors going on. So we're going to have to bring you back and talk about that because there are women. I'm gonna say this. That can do that. And they can do it on their own if it's done right. That's what I'm gathering right here is that if you're flying solo, you can reach that pinnacle. You can reach that ultimate altitude if it's done right. Am I wrong on that?
No, that is so true. But in order to get it done right, you have to do it yourself first, so you know what it will take to get there. So, I mean, all those things you just read, every woman should experience that. Every woman can experience it. But it's a matter of doing the research. And the research is flying solo.
Absolutely. We're going to look at some of these comments because you guys out here blowing up the comments. But guys need to understand that not all women are sexually satisfied if their man isn't. See, y'all have got me started.
Yeah.
We told y'all bring the popcorn and the wine because this was going to be a good one tonight. But you're absolutely right, Natalie. Again, it goes back to that understanding and the communication. I'm gonna let you go ahead and chime in on that as well, LM.
I honestly feel like the days where women had to satisfy their man, I feel those days are over. I'm just gonna be honest. Flying solo is a selfish act. It's an act to get to know your body so that you know what you like and you don't like so that you can communicate that to your partner. But it's not about him anymore. It's all about you. Like, I mean, I can't express this enough that self-pleasure is just that. You're pleasing yourself. You are first. Even if you're in a plane and the plane goes down, they tell you to put the oxygen on yourself first before you try to revive somebody else or, try to take care of somebody else. So for me, it's taking care of yourself first. And then once you know how to take care of yourself first, please yourself, it's easy to please your man because now you know how to be pleased so you can please him. I guess I'm not, I am old school, but as far as that, like those days, because I've been married for 4 years.
You don't even look 23. Once you get married, you got married right out the womb.
I did. But I've been married for that long, and when I first got married, it was that. That's what my parents are still together, and that was something that was instilled in me is that is all about pleasing your man, cooking for him, cleaning for him, doing all of these things for your man. I just feel like that day is gone. We need, and especially if we can be CEOs of companies, if we can, be, own companies, run companies, that same energy that we use in a boardroom, we need to have that same energy and vigor in the bedroom. We need to take control. And I just feel like it is time for us to take control of our bodies and stop letting society dictate to us how we should be in our bedrooms.
Now, this next comment here, man, communication is key, but also introducing, wait a minute, I lost it here, introducing new things to the bedroom. And she says, Phoebe says, I found many men feel demasculated by having a tour. Anything when it's all actuality, both of you can reach a better climax. Demasculation. Woo.
Yes, and that goes back to the conversation with having communication with your partner. You have to really, and it's so sad that you really have to stroke his ego. You really do, but it's all about communicating that you're not replacing him with a toy. You're not replacing him with self-pleasure. You're not trying to keep him out of the bedroom. What you're doing is learning your body and teaching him also your body so both of you guys can climax. At the same time, it's absolutely fabulous. But if you can't, you go first, I go second. Or, having that conversation is like, look, babe, you was first last time. Let me go first this time. Whatever the case may be, but it should be that you are both experiencing that sexual gratification together.
I'll put up one more comment here. Actually, it's a question for you, and then we're going to open up the phone lines because I know they forgot what those hormones are right now. Go ahead and deal with Valerie's question here.
So, of course, Valerie is a dear friend of mine, my mentor, all of that. And so when having just conversations with her and some other girlfriends, I always use the analogy that how can you tell someone how to get to your house if you don't know where you live? So that's what Valerie is referring to. You have to know your body. You have to know what it takes to get you there so that you can communicate that to someone else. Because what good is it to have a GPS if you don't even know your address?
Hello. I like that. So you got to use your own GPS on yourself. Definitely. All right, everybody, what I'm about to do now, and we're going to wait on the lines here. You can dial right now 804-601-0281 if you know one of the three hormones that's released during pleasuring. Again, that's 804-601-0281. You're going to win some cash, and you're going to get a signed copy of this book from LM. All right, the phone lines are open. I hope you all wrote it down. You ready? Come on, phones. All right, Carmen, let me see what you had to say here. Carmen says, while we're waiting on the phone ring, he shouldn't feel that way if he's honest about pleasing you. Well, can I say this from a man's standpoint of view? You see this big old thing right here, this big noggin? Man, we get all in our head, and then we put all this in there. And you're right, it shouldn't be. But a lot of times, because we have been taught by men, and this is what I used to tell people all the time, even in my counseling, we are products of our teaching. So however you've been taught, more likely you're going to be the image of that teaching. So we have to start having more honest conversation as men with ourselves and with our partners about, the phone is ringing. Here we go, Carmen. Here we go. Ellen, let's see. Good evening. Welcome to Cruz Inc. Radio 102.8 Live TV. This is Twisted Tuesday. You got Cruz and Miss LM Scott on the line. Who we have here this evening? All right, wait a minute. Let me see. Let me make sure. Say that again.
My name is Carmen Bruner.
Can you guys hear out there? Did you hear LM, her name?
Yes, Carmen.
All right. Are you ready to answer the question? I'm going to let LM ask you a question.
So, can you name one of the hormones that is released when having an orgasm?
Endorphin.
Oh yeah, let me get my Jeopardy music on. I was about to go. Duh, 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 duh. Is that right? She said endorphins.
Yes, that is correct.
Well, guess what, Miss Carmen Bruner? You are again. Carmen been tearing up. So Twisted Tuesday is her night because she stays locked in, and I think that Carmen got us on speed dial, and she's calling all the way from Oklahoma. So you got people from Oklahoma watching tonight.
So, Carmen, if you can name another one, I would throw in a t-shirt.
All right, she got another question. Go ahead, LM.
If she can name another hormone, I would throw in a flying solo t-shirt.
Uh-oh.
Okay, what did she say?
She said if you can name another one of those wonderful euphoric hormones that's released during self-pleasuring, she would send you a flying solo t-shirt. She would throw that in the deal. Do the music.
Serotonin.
She said serotonin. Look at that girl. All right, Carmen, what I need you to do, of course, you know the drill by now. You done won all my money. Is send us, that email, and I will make sure that I pass your mailing address and everything on to LM Scott. So again, tell everybody what book you're going to be reading. All right, then. Thanks, Carmen. And again, thanks for tuning in and supporting Cruz Inc. Radio 102.8.
Thank you. And I'm going to buy that book. Thank you very much for the great information.
All right, you got a sale right there. Ching ching. Come on. All right, somebody else. Before we go, can we get somebody to go right now and say, I'm gonna buy the book? Put it in the comments. Before we get ready to sign out, we got 5 minutes. We're gonna end at 9:30. Can I get another book sale? Can I get another one? All right. Thank you, Carmen.
Thank you.
All right, have a good evening. All right, everybody, we're pushing for another sale. Come on, somebody right now, give me another sale. Say, I'm going to buy this book. Come on. How much is the book? So they'll know.
Yes, so the book is $10 on my website, and then you can also get it from Amazon.
All right, come on. All right, y'all put down one Happy Meal. All right, here we go. We got another one. Thank you, Costello. We got another sale. All right. That's again, just that's a mocha, a cappuccino, or something that you can put to the side right now. Here we go. We got another sale. Who is this? Lil Suffer Celebrate. All right. Appreciate you. Is it Live Suffer or Lil Suffer? We're gonna say thank you. So we got 3 sales tonight. Let's everybody a round of applause. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
All right. Any closing words, LM? Oh, wait, whoa. Whoa. There we go. We got 4 sales tonight. And let me put the website up here. You guys got the website. So you can go to the website. And where else, LM?
So if you go to the website, you can get the book off the website. And also on the website, it will direct you to Amazon if you want to get an ebook. And I thank everyone for purchasing the book. I hope it's a great read. I can be found on social media at Londilia McCoy Scott, as well as on Instagram at lm.scott.
And don't go, because we're going to play Mojito one more time. We're going to get y'all in the mood so that y'all can go ahead and I'm not telling anybody what to do, but just in case you feel mojito and you want to fly solo. I'm the air traffic controller. I'm gonna say you got a green light, go ahead.
Yes, and so they need to get the book because chapter 4 is coming in for the landing.
Ooh, yeah, and see, that's why I didn't want to mention just 2 chapters tonight, because you guys, again, this is a great read, and want to thank you guys. And don't go anywhere because we're gonna play the song again. But I see another comment coming in, so I don't want nobody to say, you know what, Cruz, you didn't show my comment. So hold on just a second. Let me go back to the comments. Thank you, Val. We certainly appreciate it. Thank you so much. And again, I must say that it was a joy talking with you tonight, having you on, and I want to have you back.
Okay. Well, thanks so much for having me. I had a great time, and I would love to come back.
Fantastic. All right, everybody. It's your boy Cruz, the Beast from the East, and you've been watching Cruz Inc. Radio 102.8 TV Live. If you missed anything, you can go to our YouTube site, and we're going to be sharing that as well as Cruz Inc. Radio 102.8 TV on YouTube, and you can see the entire broadcast tonight. Share it. Make sure you share it with your friends because there's a lot of insightful information out there. Make sure you go to the website. We sold 4 books tonight. I'm looking for LM to call me and say, Cruz, guess what? I sold 10 books before midnight. All right. So let's do this thing. Let's support one another. We're all, I want to mention again that Carmen Bruner is another excellent singer out of Oklahoma. And want to mention Costello, excellent singer out of California. And we had Miss Natalie McKnight, who is actually Natalie Red. Go to her website. I wish I had on tap right now her songs as well. We feature these on Twisted Tuesdays on our radio station. But again, you guys have been a fantastic audience tonight. Okay, y'all don't want me to go home tonight. Let's see what else we got going on here. Wait a minute. Okay. All right. Somebody said, great show. Thank you very much, Lasanda. And then Castell said she's already placed her order. See, I tell you, this is a marathon going on here tonight. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right, guys. LM got to go because you're going to be in Atlanta. Where? And when is that?
I will be in Atlanta. It's called the Black Pop-Up Shop. And it's this weekend, the 19th through the 21st. And then I have a book signing at the 150 North, 150 North Restaurant and Lounge on Midlothian on the 26th of March.
Fantastic. And we're going to be sharing LM's information because we follow her. We're friends on Facebook, and we're going to continue to support, again, her endeavors and by putting that information out there. So here it is, guys. Thank you so much for being here. LM, don't go anywhere. Hold on. Stay in the green room for just a moment. This is Mojito by Costella.
Sing. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sitting in this place with a smile on my face, knowing you are in my spirit makes my world dance. Where would I be without you? I can't imagine. So glad I took a chance. Mint and lime, oh so sweet. You got my head bopping to a crazy beat. I'm sipping on mojito, trying to let it go. But you know, my heart is just no. My whole universe changed the day I met you. You opened up my soul, you freed my heart, yeah. You gave me courage to make a brand new start. It was no accident, me meeting you. Now what should I do? Mint into a crazy beat. I'm sipping my mojito, trying to let it go. But you know, my heart says no. Can't let it go. Can't let you go. Can't let it go. My heart says no. Yeah. Can't let it go. Can't let you go. Can't let it go. My heart says no. Yeah. All I want is your love, baby. All I want is your love. What have you done to me, sugar? You know you set me